Hello everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to Rising Above the Average. Hello, welcome. How is everyone doing? Oh my goodness, it's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks, right? So last week, I wasn't able to do this live. I'm going to explain why in a bit. But before we go into it, you know the drill, right? How have you been? How is everything going with you? Have you missed me? I have missed you, all right? How have you been? How's your family? How is your emotional state? How's your mental state? How is everything with you? How is your growth? How is your learning? Yes, all going well. Kudos to all of you. Kudos. And my sincere apologies. Last week I couldn't do the live because I had so many things going on, right? I recently moved to a new apartment, so I was dealing with the move and all the logistics that I have to do with it. Hope everyone is doing well. Today I have a very interesting story to share with you, and it's titled The Crippled Fox and the Generous Lion. But we're going to get into that in a short bit, in just a bit. But before that, what have you learned? Yeah, we're back to this learning thing. And as you know me by now, I'm all about learning. I'm all about continuous learning. So I always like to start my programs asking, what have you learned today? Or what have you learned this week, this past week that just passed? What have you learned? Did you learn anything? Was it fruitful? Was it productive? What did you learn from your neighbors, from just the passerby, from taking the train, the bus, from just sitting? What did you learn at your work? What did you learn in your business? What did you learn interacting with other people? What have you learned this week? I believe that life is about continuous learning, and I believe that true joy and happiness is sustained by progress. The more progress you make, the happier you get. That's what I believe, right? And you can try it for yourself and see whether it works for you. So while I wait for your comments to come in, and remember, this is not a monologue, this is a dialogue. So keep the comments coming, keep the contribution, the likes, the love coming in. Thank you so much for liking this. I hope that this helps you in one way or the other. And if it has helped you in any way, just drop me a comment and tell me, share with me how this has helped you. Yeah. Okay. So what have I learned this week? Boy, I've got to take a breath and just feel my heart. It's getting to my heart. This week I've learned so much, and one major thing that I've learned and I'm practicing and going into is the ability, or I would say I've learned that it's very important for you to be happy no matter what, to be happy within yourself. Whether you have I believe that before you achieve any goal, you need to be happy before you achieve that goal, right? And many of us, me included, we're more like, oh, when I achieve so and so, I'll be happy, right? That's how I have been functioning in my life. When I achieve so and so, I'll be happy. But now I want to learn. I'm learning, I'll say, how to be happy no matter what. How to be happy right now before I even achieve my next goal. Because you know what? My goals keep updating, right? So when I achieve this, I want the next thing, I want the next thing. And then I'm like, if I'm going to be happy this way, then I'll be postponing my happiness. But I want to learn how to be happy right now, where I am right now. I want to be happy with myself, whether I have the goal right now or I don't. I want to be happy while I am going towards the goal, while I'm working, while I'm striving, while I'm learning, and while I'm embracing my next level and my goals, right? And that's what I've learned, because throughout my life I've always been this person of one thing to the next, one thing to the next, one thing to the next, and I've always wanted my kind of a physical environment to kind of be a certain way before I can feel inner peace. But look, this has not worked for me. I don't know anybody that's worked for, but it does not work for me. I found myself, really becoming stressed and being dependent on outside things to be happy inside. But now I've decided, no, I am going to regulate my mental and emotional well-being, and I'm not going to allow any physical circumstance to affect it. Whether I'm living I know that's a bit extreme right here, right? Whether I'm living in a mansion, I'm living in a humble place, or I'm living, or even I want to get to a place where even when I'm homeless, I can be happy, because it's possible. I believe it's possible that for you to have nothing and still be happy. And I want to feel both. When I have something, I want to be happy, and when I don't have anything, I still want to be happy. I want to be happy just be me, and not having to depend on any external factor to make me happy. So that's what I have been working on, to be happy no matter what. And I believe that, I know sometimes the little times I've touched that place, I felt so good to just be happy within me and not expect anything or anybody to come and fill me up, right? And I'm so grateful for that. And look, my friend, I'm happy that you're with me on this journey, right? And if we can support each other in any way, invite me to your lives, drop me a video, let me know, what you're working on. I would love to hear from you. And look, if you're like, I would like to have more of this content, on-demand content, feel free to go to Ask Alone Anything, and feel free to subscribe to my newsletters. I send out daily quotes to just help you, and a lot of interesting things, and weekly emails to just help you and tell you how I've been growing and what you can do that can also help you grow. Right, feel free to visit askaloneanything.com, right, and get your free stuff over there. So today we'll talk about the crippled fox and the generous lion. It's a story that I learned from a new book. The book I'm currently reading. So I'm reading this book. It's Karma. Sorry, it's a bit upside down. It's Karma by Sadhguru, and this is an eye-opening book, honestly. And yeah, if you want to understand why your life is the way it is, right? If you want to understand why things happen to you the way they happen to you, this is the go-to book. It really explains life circumstances and why they happen, how they happen, and how you can take control of your own life in a more conscious way, right? So the story in here that really went home to me, and I thought I would share it. But before I share it, I wanted to say thank you to Sadhguru for writing this book, and thanks to everyone that's contributed to this book, because this book has really blessed me, and I wanted to say thank you. Thank you so much. So I'll read a part of this, and I really wanted to share this story with you, right? So it says, the crippled fox and the generous lion. It happened. On a certain day, a man was seized by a spiritual thirst. Like we all do from time to time, don't we? In those days, when you were spiritually thirsty, you went to the forest. Today, of course, that will be difficult given that there isn't much forest around. So this man went deep into a nearby forest and found a tree under which he sat cross-legged and began intoning the sacred syllable Om. So he was, intoning Om. Now he can do Om for only so long. After that, the stomach has its own Om, doesn't it? Which asserts itself periodically. Each time his stomach growled, the man would go to town for a meal. He will then come back and resume his austerities. One day, he returned after his meal and sat down on a rock. He was about to resume his chanting when he noticed a fox. It has lost both its four legs, but was still well fed and healthy. This struck the man as distinctly odd. In a jungle governed by the law of the survival of the fetus, it was strange to find a disabled but healthy animal. How had this fox managed to survive? The man asked. The man looked at it with some surprise. After a while, he resumed his practices. That evening, while meditating, he heard the growl of a lion. He promptly forgot his arm and clambered up a tree. A lion came by with a large chunk of meat in its mouth. To the man's amazement, the lion walked up to the crippled fox, dropped it in front of him. So the lion walked up to the crippled fox, dropped it in front of him, and walked away. The fox began tucking into his dinner. The man looked on in disbelief. The same practice went on day after day. The man could not believe his eyes. A crippled fox being fed by a generous lion. This was a miracle. This has to be a message from God, he thought. What is God trying to tell me? He struggled with that question for a while, and then it dawned on him. When even a crippled fox was being fed in the jungle by a generous lion, why should he keep running to town in search of food? That's what he thought. Surely, God wanted him to trust he would be provided for and wanted him to focus on what really counted, which is his spiritual practice. So the man changed his strategy. For the next 3 days, he kept up his own practice without stirring from his spot. By the fourth day, he was considerably weakened. By the fifth day, he could barely. Hey, can you still hear me? So I was saying, so the man changed his strategy. For the next 3 days, he kept up his own practice without stirring from his pot. By the fourth day, he was considerably weakened. By the fifth day, he could barely stay conscious. By the seventh day, he was gasping for life, caught in the throes of death. A yogi happened to be passing this way. Hearing these noises, he found the man and asked, "What happened to you? Why are you in this condition?" "Because a divine message came to me, I obeyed it and see my plight," groaned the man. "What divine message?" the yogi asked. And so the man related to the yogi the entire story of the crippled fox and the generous lion. "So tell me, yogi," gasped the man, "was this a divine message or not?" The yogi said, "Yes, of course, this was a divine message. But why did you choose to imitate a crippled fox rather than a generous lion?" Whoa. It says, yes, this of course was a divine message, but why did you choose to imitate a crippled fox rather than a generous lion? Oh my God. Did you get that story though? Many times in life we tend to go, I don't know how to say, to choose, to make choices in a way that does not support all the areas of our lives. For example, simple thing I understand from my own life is sometimes we tend to focus on one area and neglect the other. For example, when I was growing up, I focused on my mental development, studying stuff, and then I neglected my health. My physical body, I wouldn't exercise that much. I wouldn't really care. I wasn't really aware of my physical body, right? I was just focused on learning more, right? And at the point, I wasn't looking my best. Like, that's not how I wanted to look. But growing and learning, I understand that many times we make choices, right, that doesn't support our wholeness, our whole well-being. And today, the reason I wanted to share this story with you is that many of us, me included, me number one at this, is that we imitate the crippled fox. Right? We understand things. We just take life. Like, we want to do the easy things and hope that somehow things are just going to fall in place without we being intentionally putting the effort into it, right? We like to do the simple things that come to us naturally, things that are simple for us to do. But look, why don't we imitate the generous lion? Why don't we go out there and be the force for good? Why don't we go out there and change, right? And make our environment better? Why don't we be the ones that greet our neighbors first? Why don't we be the ones that keep our environment clean? Why don't we be the ones that love everybody, no matter what, right? And these are practices. These are daily practices. There are daily practices that you can put in place to be able to cultivate that with you. And I have a short course that I did, I call it Creative Morning, and these are daily practices that I do, right, to embody the teachings that I share with you and to live what I call a wholesome life, right? So today I'd like to urge everyone of us, me included, that we should practice being the generous lion instead of the crippled fox, right? And we don't have anything against the crippled fox, right? But we want to now take our lives to the next level and be intentional about acting and doing good in our environment. So this is what I wanted to share with you today. This story, oh my God, has really opened my eyes to so many different things, and I thought, wow, this is a no-brainer, and I would like to share with you all. And please, if you got any aha moment and anything you'd like to share, feel free to leave me a comment or send me a direct message. I would love to hear from you. Feel free to also go to AskAlunAnything.com, right, where I have a lot of free messages. I send out daily quotes, motivational quotes, actually 3 times a week, to just help you, to remind you of these principles and to help you on the journey. And I send out an email once every 2 weeks, just to kind of share with you a few tips that I do myself and things that I do in my own life that help me to embody all of these practices that I share with you. And look, never stop learning. I believe that continuous learning is progress, and progress is happiness. So never stop being happy, never stop learning, and keep going, and never give up in your life. You know what? Because I am your first cheerleader. I cheer you up in anything you want to do. I'm here to support you. I'm here to cheer you up. I'm here to say, look, you can do it. Because you know what? You are absolutely awesome. And anything you decide to do, you will achieve it. And I'm your cheerleader. Cheering you up all the way. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's such a lovely time spending with you. Thank you for allowing me to serve you, and I'm looking forward to our interaction next weekend. And as you know, I do this every Saturdays, 11 a.m. UK time, right? So I think that's GMT. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. Bye everyone. Take care. Bye bye.